Hi. Thank you very much for having me here. This is great. I love Carson City. Any chance I can get here, any excuse, I drop what I'm doing and I'm here. Yay! Woo! You guys live here, so you know you're lucky. You don't have to drop what you're doing and be here. You're just here. All right. So the topic of my talk is 14. Think about that number for a minute. And I think it's a magic number for many of us. We are, at the age of 14, I think a lot of things are coming alive to us. Of course, it's puberty. But so much about us is being awakened. And I think we are not saddled with thoughts of careers just yet. We're not saddled with the responsibilities of being an adult with a mortgage and a car payment and bills. We're expected to do our chores, get good grades. By and large, that's how most of us here have grew up. Now, I think when looking at, biologists tell us that every 7 or so years, we are becoming literally different people. Our cells regenerate to where in 7 years in the future, you will look in the mirror and see a different person. I think at age 14, that's at the tail end of that second 7-year cycle, beginning the third, which lays the groundwork for so much of our lives, especially if we are concerned about career, vocation, and that sort of thing. It is a number that casts a very long shadow. And we have this, what seems like a short window to really decide who we are, how we're wired, what excites us about life, develop our talents. We have the time to do it. You try to develop a talent when you're 40 and juggling a job and family and all this, and it's much more difficult. So I like to think of the number 14 as a magic number for us, because here's the principle. The closer we are at 40 to that 14-year-old, the happier, the more fulfilled we will be as a person. The further away we become from that 14-year-old, the more miserable we will be. I don't have to parade in front of you all these examples that I know personally, and I know you do too, of those who have migrated away from who they were at age 14. I was 14 years old, I drew pictures, I made up songs, and I liked making people laugh. It's sad, I know, it's really just sad. And it's still what I do. It's like, I can't balance a checkbook. Math is like a foreign language to me that I've never learned completely. I'm so right-brained, I kind of walk funny. I'm like trying to make my way through the world. And so I'm billed as the creative guy at Career Day. I bring a guitar, I bring my portfolio, and I show the kids what it's like to live in their future if they are to be an artist, a songwriter, a musician. And so I have enjoyed really putting this to the test over the years. I will talk to someone who is 40, 45, 50 years old, who is very fulfilled and happy in their career, maybe happy and fulfilled in their family life, their personal life too, and I will talk to them and say, who were you at 14? Tell me who you were at 14. Paint me a picture of who you were at age 14. And if I'm talking to a musician, they were practicing piano, and they were envisioning themselves, making a career out of playing the piano. I have an accountant friend, and she says, I played office. I had rubber stamps. My mom would give me rubber stamps, and I would sit there and that was her at 7, and she knew what she wanted to do with her life when she was 7. I have mathematician friends who will go on about the beauty and poetry of numbers. If you've ever talked to a mathematician with that kind of passion, you know what I'm talking about. These people knew what they were going to do. They knew how they were wired at that young age. And I can think of a number of examples just off the top of my head. Close friends, some. They're miserable. They wanted to be an artist. And at 19, 20, they took that easy way out, maybe into a family business. Maybe their parents thought it would be better to have another career that might make some money. You know, it's that money thing is like, just pursuing the things that we think are going to make us happy. And then at 40 years old, this what has been termed midlife crises is actually waking up. And they're waking up to that 14-year-old inside themselves that's saying, what happened to me? You shoved me under the bed. You put me in the closet. I'm in the attic collecting dust. We used to make puppets, you and me. And I'm like, you know, now you're working at a bank. Like, you know, what are you doing? You know, so I like to inspire people to live as they felt they were wired at age 14. And I think we can't do it across the board, and there are things, life can get in the way, detours happen. But by and large, the closer you get to that 14-year-old ideal, I think the happier and more fulfilled we will be. We see the damage in folks who are not fulfilled, and they try to fill that hole with addictions, drugs, alcohol, affairs, anything that will make them temporarily feel better, a counterfeit for what their 14-year-old self knew all along was good for them. This is, who knows who this is? Eleanor Roosevelt at 14 years old. We're going to examine those that we look at as self-actualized people. And let's look into their 14-year-old faces and see what we see. We know from reading about her and reading her writings that we all felt clunky at 14. We all do. She certainly did. But she knew there was a path for her, and she took it. Winston Churchill thought he would be a painter and a writer, which he certainly was, even into old age, but also happened to navigate Europe out of the devastation of World War II. Not a bad legacy for a writer and artist. Who knows who this is? Let me close up for you. David Bowie, 14 years old, in a band called the Conrads. With a dash, they were rad, I think is what they were trying to emphasize there. Who knows these three young lads? Ringo would join them later, but they are 14, 15 years old here in this photo. This was largely unseen, unknown until the internet popped it out there a few years back, and no one had ever seen this shot before. Bill Gates, there he is. I couldn't find the exact age on this, but he's a teenager, got his braces on. A few years later, got his braces off. See, we talked about detours. You know, we have our detours. It's okay. We can move on past that, which he certainly has. So one of my favorite writers. Say, nope. David Sedaris. Anyone familiar with David? One of my favorite writers, and there he is at 14, 15 years old. I just love it. He already has the soul of a writer. You can just see it in his eyes. Richard Dawkins, the biologist and author. There he is, 14 years old. Maya Angelou, 14 years old. Determination in her eyes. Now, here's another. She was a calypso singer for a long time as a young woman before she found her voice and started writing became the great poet that she is. These are detours. And we take them, and as we get older, we realize we take them happily. We're not, the path toward fulfillment, happiness is one of those words I kind of have trouble with, defining it exactly. So we try to use other substitutes for it, fulfillment and contentment and peace. And but these are two amazing people. These are dear friends of mine. This is Dave and Rose Tansey, and they live in Northern California. And this is them being pulled along behind their son's boat on a lake somewhere in Northern California. I can't remember where it is. And he is, I'm going to get their ages wrong. I'm just going to make it up and they'll correct me later. He's 85 and she's 79. And I see some 14-year-olds in that picture. I just love this shot. And I've seen 30-year-olds who seem more like 85. Tired, dragging, unfulfilled, hurting. And life is so short. And like I said, so I'm 54 next week. And I'm still drawing pictures. I'm still making up songs. I enjoy making people laugh. My heroes were Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, George Carlin, and Mort Drucker, the guy who did the movie spoofs in Mad Magazine in the front section. Those are still my heroes. Shel Silverstein. And I'm happy to say that I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life. And, you know, we have beacons like these folks who can show us the way. We all have those beacons. I don't like the word heroes so much. It's thrown around a little too much for my taste. I like to say I have beacons in my life that shed light and show me the proper path that's right for me. And they've shown me a little bit of their way. And this song that I'll sing in closing is a song that's Rose's favorite. She's always requesting it. When they come to my shows with my band, the Trailer Park Troubadours, and we travel throughout the West Coast and all over. Thank you. So you're the 8 people that bought those albums. Thank you. Thank you very much. But it's been a joy talking with you, and it's been a joy performing music and following my bliss all these years. And I hope it goes on for a long time yet to come. And this is a song that Rosie likes, and I'll sing it for you now. It's a song about, I'll leave their picture up while I do this too, because I think it's appropriate. It's a song about meeting times in life that are difficult or challenging, and finding those basic core things that inform us how we should live. It informs us how we should go forward. And we've all been there. If you live long enough, you will be there yourself, where you feel like you're hitting rock bottom and you're looking for any way out. And this is a song that talks about being up, climbing a tree, and feeling the pressure and just enjoying the view. It's called Out on a Limb. Out on a limb, saying a prayer, singing a hymn, holding on to dear life, the wind like a train in my ears. It's all like a dream when I was down there, feet on the ground, the devil may care. I wouldn't trade a thing for the climb I've been on all these years. Heard all the stories about climbing too high. The wind is too strong, son, you'll fall and you'll die. Nobody mentioned this beautiful view. Words are too weak to describe that to you. We were all climbers when I was a kid. When you live in a small town, it's just something we did. But puberty hit, and priorities changed, no surprise. My friends all stopped climbing, but that wasn't me. If I liked a girl, I'd help her climb a tall tree. We'd stare out at the horizon, I'd watch the sun set in her eyes. A boy can sure learn a lot about a girl on the branch of a tree at the top of the world. What she holds on to when the wind starts to blow. Is she up for adventure? That's a good thing to know. Up in a tree, out on a limb, saying a prayer, singing a hymn, holding on for dear life. Thank you. Thank you very much.